The ANC's Greater Johannesburg Regional Conference is not under investigation, according to the party Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula. Former Regional Chairperson Dada Morero's supporters raised alleged discrepancies with the voting process at the regional conference last month, where he lost to Loyiso Masuku. Mbalula has assured the elected regional leadership that they will not be disbanded.
The African National Congress had its January 8th statement, which the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa prioritized 6 priority areas where the ANC will look at fixing local government in a year that South Africa heads into the local government elections and where the ANC has faced electoral decline in the 2024 general election. The ANC Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula has questioned what would be the legitimacy of the ANC's National Executive Committee if the party were to lose the upcoming local government elections. Mr. Mbalula, January 8 statement, done and dusted. Your president, the NEC, read out the statement of the January 8 by the president, your 6 key priority areas. How are you looking at faring going into these local government elections, knowing that you've been battered, particularly in local government and in metros within the country?
Thank you very much, and the listeners at home. The January 8 statement is the marching orders. This is the decisive year to fix local government and address the challenges in the economy. So those are marching orders. We will look at the end of the year how we have fared. The base was the roll call and the priorities on local government. We were supposed by now, if it was not because of the General Council, to bring you up to speed about the interventions we have made at leadership level, governance challenges at local government. We'll be doing that after the Lekgotla, from the time we launched the action plan and the work we have done with regard to local government. So the marching orders are catching up with us whilst we are on track in terms of implementing the action plan on local government.
But if you look at local government, particularly you go to Buffalo City Municipality, you go to Mangaung, you come to Johannesburg, you go to Tshwane, you go to Ekurhuleni, you've got a number of service delivery issues, particularly with sewage running down the streets. Many residents are complaining in Johannesburg that G20 is done and dusted. It's back to default settings of service delivery being deplorable and the city being filthy once again in the city of Johannesburg.
Samkelo, let's start here from saying to you and the listeners that we've got an action plan which will report in detail on how we overcome those challenges and the work that is being done now. This is not the year from the time we launched the action plan to be really verbosing around what are the challenges. The question is, in the local municipalities where we lead, what are we doing about those challenges and the sewage and all of the things that you are mentioning, potholes and all of those things? What are we doing to actually fixing them? Johannesburg is a different ball game altogether. We're governing with others here. And as much as we are the mayor, we are at the helm, but we work with others. We're not working on our own. So the aim of Johannesburg is to basically get the ANC totally in the driving seat on its own, so that we are able to do the things that we think we should do without really asking support from others.
How are you going to do that, Mr. Mbalula, noting very well that the voter apathy within the country is at an all-time low? Residents and voters are not going out to vote because they don't have jobs. They're sitting at home faced with triple challenge of poverty, inequality, and the municipalities are not performing at the rate that they should be performing. For instance, if you go to Soweto, you find that there is a number of robots that are not working, street lights not working, sewage running down the streets.
Samkelo, voters we've got to rekindle our relationship with them through a social contract. And that is exactly what fixing local government and fixing the economy is about. And once we rekindle that, we reach a stage in which people themselves start to believe in what we do. It will be reflected in the vote and the election. And I can tell you right now that there is equally a contradiction in relation to what you put forward. We have been winning local government by elections, very few that we have lost. And if you also use that as a measure, it will tell you a different story. We have been winning local government by-elections in Limpopo and everywhere else with bigger numbers, which is something that doesn't happen in by-elections. Normally, low voter turnout and so on. So that in itself begin to define that the renewal work we are doing as a party to reach out and changing things in certain areas is being felt by the residents, and the reflection, the immediate tool of or instrument that can measure that is the outcome of the by-elections that we have held.
When you look at the ANC's organizational machinery, you've got allegations that you've basically told the Johannesburg region to send out the documents, the files, the ballot papers of this past regional conference that took place in the city of Johannesburg. In Khubusane region, for example, you've had Princess Fago, the newly elected regional chairperson, firing salvos at the provincial secretary, Lula Mangcoka Itobi, saying that he was nowhere to be found during a vote of no confidence against her, signaling divisions within the party. What is going on within these particular regions that are seeing fracas within the African National Congress? John Mpe as well in Pitamuka.
No, you have overzealous people in the ANC who like to report internal matters to the media. Have you ever seen that with the DA and others? These are internal issues that I'm handling and the center holds. There's no crisis in Joburg. That issue is a matter that is being attended to between my office, myself, and the province. But somebody overzealous takes a letter I've written to the province, give it his own interpretation. When I said the ballot boxes must be secured by the police and as well as ANC security and all of that, because there is some mishap that has been reported. We are fixing it. Raising alarm, making comrades to panic that probably they are going to be, disbanded. We don't work like that. We run the ANC properly. And therefore, we don't run the ANC through the media. And that is why I didn't respond to that journalist when he asked me questions, because I don't run ANC in partnership with them. And they are factional, unidentified individuals who feed them information for their own personal, aggrandizement and disorganizing the ANC and projecting the party as though it's in a state of disarray. Challenges where they are, which one have we failed to address organizationally? There's no John Mpe who's under siege here. All those matters, we addressed them. We reported to the General Council in Polokwane. Everything is under control. We are running the organization properly. In Khubusana, the conference is over. We're going to provincial conferences. There will be tensions from time to time around leadership contestation, but those things are not insurmountable. These are issues that we address and resolve in the party. The people want to see the ANC where it governs, governing well and doing well, and that is what we are about.
When you raised that, you said security, ANC security and the police must collect those particular boxes of the Johannesburg Regional Conference. What were the discrepancies that were there?
There were no discrepancies. The issue is that if there was a moment where in which anything were to be done to those ballot boxes, wherever they will be delivered, they must be secured by the ANC security supported by the police service, wherever they will be. They are safe now. They are with the IEC. There's no issue about it. And therefore, the discrepancies that have been raised will be addressed by the IEC. They will respond to the complaint, and we are attending to it. So there's no problem. That's why I didn't even raise the matter with the region, because there's no problem about the region being under question. It's the question where in which there are matters that were reported in public during holidays, long after the conference have taken place. I'm attending to those particular issues as we speak. And there's no region that is under question. There's no regional conference that is under investigation. We are attending to the complaints as they have been raised by those who raised them.
So there wouldn't be a recount?
A recount can only be done through a particular process. So there's nothing like that. The people who are running the elections will account and give us the report. And then that is where it ends. And therefore, if there's a need out of that report to do something else, the SG will take steps. in consultation with the structures of the organization and all those who were deployed overseeing that conference. So that's how we deal with issues. There are processes in the ANC. There are internal dispute resolution mechanisms in the party. So we are not in a crisis. The problem is overzealous people sharing party information with journalists. Journalists are doing their job. We can't find fault. If I'm coming to you and say, Samkelo, here is a dossier, you will run with it, it's news. But at the end of the day, I don't blame the media. I blame overzealous party members who are out of order, basically. And if I found them, I will take them to the cleaners because they are making matters difficult and make members of the organization to panic unnecessarily and all of that. Otherwise, there's no crisis in Joburg, we are fine.
Moving on to the provincial conferences. Many have seen that they are the first stepping stone towards the 2027 National Conference of the African National Congress. How are you looking at holding the provincial conferences of Limpopo, Gauteng, Eastern Cape, and other provinces that are due to go to their provincial conferences?
The NEC resolved that all conferences must take place by March. So I'm receiving the roadmap and I will share with the National Executive Committee. Comrades have started with the conference preparations. By March, all will be done and dusted. Regional conferences, provincial conference. If you don't hold your conference by that time, it can only happen after the election. So that's what we are focused on.
When you're speaking about after the election, I've seen T-shirts being printed of PM27, Savumelana. What is the ANC's perspective of those T-shirts that were seen being printed in bulk of Patrice Motsepe?
There's no perspective. It's just people who are doing things that are an ANC, and we are going to clamp down on them. We have said to all members of the ANC that the issue of leadership, succession, debate, and all of that will come in 2027. There will be no 2027 without 2026. Those who are responsible for that, once we see it in our branches, we're going to collect them and put it in the dustbin. And that's what we're going to do, if it is done in the name of the ANC. Because that matter is not open now. Not that people cannot have preferential stuff. I've seen some people from KZN who don't even make themselves clear as to which structure they come from. I mean, at KZN, we're at 17%. People are telling us about PM 2017 and all of those particular things, diverting the organization from the major task. And we should be focusing on the task of reclaiming the lost ground. They are busy with something that organizationally we have said that, wait, the time for this, including talking about your candidate and how beautiful or nice is your candidate, handsome, and all of that, and why that candidate fit, the moment of becoming ANC president, that will come. So why T-shirts? Diverting us from a major task of reclaiming the lost ground. Why? These people are not ANC. They are just coming here to disorganize us and therefore doing things that are an ANC and at the same time just diverting us to debating something that we will have enough time to debate after the election. 2017, the whole year, we'll be talking candidates and all of that. And there will also be a clear process.
Have you engaged Dr. Patrice Motsepe on this? I
don't have to engage him. I will deal with the matter as per mandate given to me with those who are perpetuating that. Because I don't know where does that come from. If he's a member of the ANC, he will know that there is an order in the organization right now that matters of that nature will come. Nothing withstanding the fact that if people want him to become president of the ANC for whatever reasons and is a member of the ANC, because anyone can stand to become anything, that moment will come. Why should we be busy with that now? Because he should be pumping money into supporting the organization to win local government elections if he loved the ANC. And that is what we are about. And I can't be chasing ghosts, because when I get to him, he's going to say, where did I say I'm standing? Because that moment is coming. He will pronounce himself and say that I'm standing as president of the ANC and I'm asking for your support and for the following reasons. I want to be president of the ANC and I'm a member in good standing. Here is my branch. So that moment will come. So members of the ANC in the country understand that perfectly. And I'm observing this tendency that is coming up with PM27 right at the beginning of it was running on social media, on WhatsApps. Now it wants to engulf us and so on. We will deal with it accordingly in terms of the ANC party discipline.
KwaZulu-Natal, you've raised it that they are part of, some of them are part of this PM27 that is speaking ahead of time.
No, not some of them. I said there are people who come from KZN who came forward in the media and all of that, and they claim to be ANC members. And I'm questioning, because in KZN, we are in a very, very precarious situation for comrades to be preoccupied with PM27 when we should be fighting to reclaim the lost ground.
When are you fixing that test? Seemingly the carburetor is not having those injectors to take off.
No, Tez, it is really, what is this thing? Putting it in a way of an example. We're using cars in terms of speed. We didn't do well to a point where we would have expected that our organization would have had a different face at the present moment. Not that for anything that things will change overnight, but you need energy, you need focus and determination, and that's what we needed to support. Their term has come to an end. We will be going to KZN, and then I'll be meeting with structures together with Nomvula, SGO, and Marupini. We'll be meeting with structures there, and then we'll evaluate that situation and what needs to be done and what we need to do extra to support our comrades in KZN. We do have ANC in KZN. It is alive. We just need to put shock absorbers, into the car and make it run, and then maybe supply, extra support on the ground to make things happen. So we are going to do that, and we are going to be frank and honest in dealing with that. And coming from outside, we need to show comrades that we need to move faster. And it's not going to be a question of friendship when we deal with that. And I'm sure we'll lose a couple of friends in the process of doing this work up until we get it right. And we will.
Has this PTT failed?
Look, its failure is determined by its performance.
They've not been able to hold regional conferences.
Yes.
They've not been able to hold a successful provincial general council. They have had to restart it. Organizationally, they're bleeding. They're losing by-elections left, right, and center. eThekwini municipality is in disarray. Organizationally, they're in disarray. All other 11 regions are in total disarray. You've got basically no branches.
That is the report I will make, Samkel. I don't want to discuss it with you. I will do that report, and I'm happy to get that feedback from you, from what you see in terms of ANC performance yourself, from where you stand, that the following things have not happened. And I've used the global, characterization that we are disappointed in terms of our performance in KZN. And it is in the report of the SG in terms of KZN. It is there in the report where we speak about our disappointment and all of that. And nonetheless, we will come okay. I'm confident.
On to governance matters, you've got the ANC NEC Lekgotla, which will then be succeeded by the ANC's, by the government Lekgotla, to be chaired by President and Deputy President. What are some of the key priority areas this weekend in the NEC Lekgotla?
The Lekgotla is going to be focusing on how do we put the statement and the 6 priorities into action. It's going to address local government. First and foremost, I need to point to you that you say there are no potholes. And then there are potholes,
Yeah, there are
for
potholes.
instance, and there's problems of water, supply. as we would
Vegetation is not done across. You
Yes,
go to
let me-
Randburg, there's no vegetation done.
Yeah. One of the issues we need to address is the question of Northwest alone returned close to 2 billion rand of MIG back to Treasury. And yet, we've got challenges on the ground.
Mind you, Northwest
So-
is the worst performing province when it comes to municipalities, as per the AG report.
Yes, I agree with you. So I'm saying that's what Lekgotla is going to address. To say that these rollovers that have happened in local government, how do we address them? You say there is no money, but the 2 billion of municipal infrastructure grant has returned back, and there are potholes. Where is the bottleneck? What are the challenges? So those are the things we're going to address, and therefore fixing local government, the economy. If you look at the poor provinces and so on, and the industrialization program in our manifesto, how far have we gone in implementing it to create more industries and jobs? We've got offshoots that are positive about our economy. How do we build on that? So the Lekgotla is going to be very practical rather than just, rhetoric and repeating and all of that. Here is the first task, fixing local government. What needs to be fixed within this period? People are not going to vote for slogans or going to follow the ANC for slogans. What do? When we said we are fixing electricity, of which now we are facing the challenge of load reduction, even itself is being attended to, we fixed it decisively. So that is the spirit and the action plan, program of action we're going to come up with, looking at the 6 priorities and what we actually need to do going forward.
State of the Nation address, key priority areas where the president will be looking at, particularly noting its election year. And you as the ANC have said, if you don't fix local government, ultimately South Africans
We
will
will want the 6 priorities to find expression in the State of the Nation. Of course, from our side, in terms of our deployees, that is the guide. But government work with others because it's a GNU. So that statement that will come out of that will be guided already by the 6 priorities and what we'll have said in our Lekgotla, because it lays the basis a week later to government Lekgotla and what the president is going to communicate to the nation.
Has the president started engaging other political parties on what they want to see encompassed in the State of the Nation address?
I suppose they will, because they will also communicate through the Lekgotla of government, where political parties in the GNU do participate. And some of them have got ministries and so on. So that's what is going to happen.
United States of America, you've had Iran coming into the country. You've had the standoff between the president and the generals over the Iran and the drills that are meant to be taking place within the country. Won't this further fracture South Africa's relationship with the United States, but also fracture the BRICS family of countries, noting that South Africa is saying to Iran, have an observer status?
The challenge we've got, Samkelo, which we must admit from the side of our government, is communication, including the Iran issue. It has been projected that there is an altercation and a disorder, and the lines of authority are not clear at the level of government, whereas there is no such. We got a detailed briefing yesterday in the NWC from the Minister of Defense about what happened there. I'm shocked that that does not find expression in the public domain. Of course, Iran, this first and foremost, these drills are not South Africa. South Africa was just availing its platform, which is our seas, to allow BRICS countries to do this. Then they brought along Iran. And then it is South Africa that intervened that we don't think this.
But Iran is a member of BRICS.
Yeah, it is a member of BRICS, but at the end of the day, at the level of security in terms of diplomatic protocols, these issues were resolved there. So our generals, from the briefing that we got, did nothing wrong, because this was not their party. This was a BRICS party, and they did not call shots. All what they did was to provide platform. So, of course, we deal with Americans, overzealousness, world policemen, who always complain about this and that, including Iran and what is happening in Iran, and wanted to use this now as a scapegoat. Of course, what is South Africa's interest? South Africa will not want to go to war with America over something that we can prevent. First and foremost, we've got to address that point, which is what South Africa has done. But that was not our drill. It belongs to BRICS. We just provided the platform, and we're working with others to execute.
What explanations did the Minister of Defense give you?
It's exactly what I've explained to you, that this was a BRICS mission in terms of the drill, and at the same time, South Africa provided platform, and it was led by China. So the matter was resolved through diplomatic protocols in terms of the Iran issue, and the Americans complained about that.
Mr. Mbalula, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very
Pleasure
much.
engaging with you.
Thank you.
We will hope to engage with you soon. Are you standing as president?
No, that will happen. That will be discussed next year, whether I stand or I don't stand. The matter of standing is reserved up until then. If I were to comment about that I'm standing or not standing, I will be fueling a debate that the organization have agreed must stop. That time, when it comes, 2027, we have one local government, I'll answer you about it.
But the delegates were saying, Sepetu no pala no content, and
Of
the
course,
two sides.
no pala, no content. It is to acknowledge the work. It doesn't get into my head. They were acknowledging and appreciating their Secretary-General. And I receive.
Kwede Mantashe says you should go for a second term as SG.
Well, Mantashe sometimes says things as an older person in the organization. Who am I to argue with him? So we have agreed in the organization that this thing must wait up until the moment when it's supposed to be debated in the organization. At that moment, you'll know our views. Of course, it will be amiss of anyone to think that these issues are not being debated. But there must be order in the organization. As much as people can talk about it, but we are not about it right now. We need to focus the membership and the structures on the task at hand.
Thank you very much, Secretary-General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, answering a plethora of questions on governance, particularly around the metro municipalities, local government that is currently in disarray. The ANC Lekgotla this weekend will look extensively at the Northwest Province, local government in other provinces as well. Northwest returned billions of rands to the national fiscus, yet the Northwest is one of the provinces in the Auditor General's report that is worst performing when it comes to local sphere of government. And also the sticky issue around the drills that were done in South Africa, where Iran was invited, where there was reported there was a standoff between the president and the generals. Fikile Mbalula, the SG, is saying they received a thorough report from the Minister of Defense and that South Africa's generals are not at fault here at all.